For better or for worse, I got my start in our fitness culture as a professional trainer in the late 90s, early 2000s, back when functional training was all the rage, when people were saying, oh, machines are worthless and you need to be standing on wobble boards and doing all sorts of cockamamie circus trick coordination exercises in order to be functional with your training. And I drank that functional training Kool-Aid to a large degree. I was always about functional this and functional that. And it didn't take too long for the effectiveness of this stuff to kind of come out in the wash and be like, yeah, all the BOSU, wobble boardy, crazy stuff that we were doing really actually didn't do that much for functional training. And more importantly, it was so high on the stability and coordination side of things that it could actually compromise the ability to build just raw strength and muscle. But nevertheless, this idea of functional strength still persists to a large degree. A lot of times when people are saying like, I want functional strength, I want my things to be applicable, then this idea is still permeating our fitness culture. But I'm here to tell you why I've pretty much completely given up any idea of pursuing strength in the name of functional ability. There are several reasons for this. One is a lot of times functional strength is just a marketing term. It's something that is often propositioned towards some sort of new, exotic, and fancy thing, and kind of like dietary terms of like low fat or healthy or natural. Functional just became this thing that doesn't actually have any real meaning to it, but it was used to persuade you to buy goods and services that don't have a whole lot of scientific validity behind them. The second thing is that, well, yeah, of course it's functional. Everything is functional. Everything we do with our body is conditioning our body to be able to accommodate the functional demand of what we do. But at the same time, everything is also not functional because the adaptations that our body goes through in accordance to the stimulus we create in exercise is always to say, body, do this thing. But a lot of times the functional marketing rhetoric out there as well, if it's functional, then that means you're going to be great and wonderful and much better at everything. And that's simply not true, because I'll be able to do standing bicep curls and I'll have some degree of functional carryover to anything that requires resistance for elbow flexion, but it sure as hell isn't going to make me a better runner. It's not going to make me good at anything that's much more removed from the functional demand of that exercise. So everything is functional, but at the same time, nothing is functional for everything. The other thing is recognizing and finally understanding that the bulk of your functional ability to do something is in practicing that thing. My proficiency as a martial artist comes from taking Taekwondo class, not whether or not I'm doing something fancy for my core. And this was a big mistake that I made, and also I've seen clients make too, where they would spend so much time and energy and effort in the gym, thinking if they could really do fancy functional stuff in the gym, then they're going to become much better athletes, when the reality is they would sometimes spend so much time and energy in the gym that would actually compromise their training, and as a result, they became worse at what their respective sport was. That's not to say that the time spent in the gym is worthless or anything. It certainly does help, but usually that benefit is not quite in the way we think. A lot of times, strength and conditioning for an athlete is about keeping you safe and resilient. It's not going to make you a better athlete. It's going to make it so that you don't get so much of an injury and wear and tear on your body that compromises your performance. And the strength and conditioning also helps you not so much be a better athlete in performance of your sport, but performance in your training. So that way, with your drills and your practices and things that you're doing for preparation of game day, it helps with the actual practice. And then that practice and being able to practice better helps with your actual performance when it counts. So a good litmus test to see if any exercise or program is working for you isn't, does it make you a better athlete? It's, does it improve your training and practice of that sport? And lastly, it was just about being honest with myself of like, what am I training for in the gym? And to be perfectly honest with you, it's not about function and performance. Yeah, I want to be healthy and safe and things like that. But ultimately, I do like my calisthenics and things like that just because I want to look and feel good. I don't give a damn if it makes me a better skier. I don't care if it makes me a better martial artist. If it does, it's just icing on the cake. Instead, I recognize that, like, yeah, I'm doing pull-ups to make my back and biceps bigger. I am doing my push-ups so that I can get a bigger chest and my shoulders will feel better. that's what I'm actually training for. And so going more directly after that and having functional ability and performance as a far distant third place benefit allows me to get more of what I actually want. And the other stuff is just happens wherever it happens. And again, recognizing that, yeah, my performance in mountain biking and skiing and all that stuff is from doing the actual activity and training that specifically. Functional training is like anything else. It's neither good nor bad. It's just a tool in the toolbox, and we have to recognize where it does help, where it does hurt, and where we can apply it to get the most benefit out of our training, and where it also has very serious limitations in the benefits that we're looking for. Be fit and live free.